specifically the matchup with the Packers. I'm not even talking about the X's and O's standpoint of this. I'm talking about the Lions' arch nemesis, the Green Bay Packers. Because now that it's officially football season, and now that it's not the weekend, but it's game week, and we're getting injury reports, and it feels real, like it's right there for the taking this week one, I'm going back into the mode of, well, let me just say this first. I'm going to put Radio Ben aside, and this is Ben coming out as the Lions fan right now. FTP. I can't stand these guys, Kyle. I despise every single thing about this Packers organization. I hate the players. I hate the coach. I hate their fans. I hate the cheese. I hate Lambeau. I hate all of it. And it feels so good to have that sort of sports hatred back. Because, you know, the Tigers don't really have an arch nemesis. I don't like Cleveland. Like, they're probably the team I dislike the most. But it's nothing compared to the Green Bay Packers. The Pistons and Knicks had a nice little rivalry going in the playoffs. They've kind of developed it. Like, I'm excited for that to continue. But they're nothing like the Green Bay Packers. I despise these guys. And I know for a fact that the Lions despise them as much as I do. There is so much hostility between these two franchises. And I think there's more hatred towards the Packers than there is towards the Lions because there's a little bit of a big brother, little brother situation going on the past couple of years. From 2000 to 2021, Green Bay owned a 32-11 record against the Lions. They completely owned them. Then Dan Campbell and Kirby Joseph and Jared Goff kick Aaron Rodgers out the door at the end of the 2022 season. And since that win, they're 6-1 versus Green Bay. They've owned them for 3 years. We've got Amon-Ra St. Brown walking into an opposing team stadium with a shirt that says Green Bay sucks. Like, I think we look past how disrespectful that is. He showed up wearing a sweatshirt that says this place sucks, then proceeded to stand on his head in the end zone in the same game. We've got Kirby Joseph actually saying the FTP words after a game in a press conference, pretending not to know who Tucker Kraft is after a reporter asking about him. Who? Mac and cheese? We've got Quay Walker, not one, not two, but 3 different personal fouls the last few years against this Detroit Lions team, including him shoving a trainer. We've got Brian Branch double birding the entire nation of Green Bay Packers. I can't stand these guys. It's by far the Lions' best rivalry. Forget the Packers and the Bears. That's no fun anymore. I know they've played for 150 years. This is the best rivalry in the NFC. These two teams hate each other. The Packers have everything to prove because right now it feels like they can't beat the Detroit Lions. And that's why I've been so confident that the Lions are going to start the season 1-0. They don't lose in Green Bay anymore. They show up with the mentality of we have to shut these guys down. Kirby Joseph said after one of the games 2 years ago, said, if you don't show up ready to play us, you're getting your ass whooped. That's what happens. That's what happens when the Packers show up to play the Lions. They treat it like just another game, and the Lions, you know, despite all these guys not really being around prior to 2020, They take this game so personally where I don't think the Packers view it as a rivalry the same way that all the guys in the Lions organization do. They hate them. They hate the Packers just as much as the fans do. We've got fans clapping in Matt LaFleur's face in Ford Field right before kickoff after the anthem. RIP that fan because he's banned from Ford Field. You did the right thing. I don't know this guy's name. I don't know the guy's name that clapped in the face of Matt LaFleur, but I know he got banned from Ford Field. Man, you did the right thing. Get inside that guy's head because, it certainly rattled him right before kickoff. This is such an exciting rivalry. I cannot wait for it to happen. And now Radio Ben is back. But one more thing from Ben, the fan of the Lions. FTP, man. I'm rocking it the rest of the weekend. I hate these guys.
Yeah, I mean, what a point brought up about the Green Bay sucks hoodie from St. Brown. I mean, think about how that could have backfired. You know, if the Packers win that game, and it's just like that could have backfired so negatively in his face, but they knew they were going to win. So, yeah, like that, you're right. That does kind of get blown under the radar as far as us talking about that because of how funny it was. Yeah, I mean, it just feels like when you compare it to all the other big rivalries in the NFC as far as like legacy rivalries go, Packers, Bears, Eagles, Cowboys, none of those necessarily feel like they're this major rivalry in the year of 2025, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even tonight, this game, Eagles-Cowboys, like, how did the Cowboys compete? You know, it's just that these rivalries are going to be so one-sided as far as the talent on the field. And despite the Lions, owning the Packers the last 3 seasons, the Packers are favored against Detroit. So the talent on the field is very at a similar standpoint. I think the hatred from the players is the big part, because a lot of the times these rivalries are inspired by the fan bases rather than the actual coaches and players, whereas this one really feels like it is an on-field rivalry turned into a fan bases hating each other, which, I mean, obviously Lions have always hated the Packers. That's been a thing forever. But the fact that the players themselves embrace it, I think just adds it to it 1,000%. So I can't wait. I think this is going to be a chippy game, of course. Lions have loved playing in Lambeau. Dan Campbell talked about it in his press conference earlier this week, like how much he loves Lambeau Field. It's an awesome facility. I don't disagree. I think everyone loves Lambeau Field, especially when you're winning there.
The thing with NFL rivalries in 2025 is they're mostly quarterback-based, like Josh Allen versus Mahomes. These guys don't actually hate each other. I mean, there might be a little petty rivalry going on.
Yeah, there's just a rivalry there because they play in the playoffs every season, yeah.
And maybe they don't like each other, but they're not coming out and, like, dogging the other person. Right. Sometimes you get it with coaches like McVay, Shanahan, always a great game because 2 masterminds going at it. I think these are the only 2 teams, at least in the NFC, that actually the players despise each other on the field. You've got Tucker Kraft accusing Kirby Joseph of being a dirty player. You've got Kirby Joseph talking smack to Tucker Kraft in the tunnel, saying, I thought you wanted this smoke, come get it. And then Tucker Kraft walking away like a little baby in the tunnel, not wanting any of the smoke. I can't wait for Sunday's game. And I was just curious if anyone else hates the Packers the way that I do. I know there's people out there, but here's, I guess, my question. Here's a better question for the people. Is there any team that you despise more for the Detroit sports than the Green Bay Packers? Because I think this is by far the best rivalry that any team in Detroit has right now. Again, Pistons, Knicks, that deserves like some sort of nod for what happened last year in the playoffs. And that is what this rivalry lacks. There's not a ton of playoff matchups between these two in recent years, but man, oh man, has there been some intense games. We had keeping Aaron Rodgers out of the playoffs. We had last season going for it on 4th and inches when the game was tied and you could have just kicked a field goal with 30 seconds left. Nope, we've got confidence that we're going to run it down your throat and pick up the first down and expire time. We've got the Packers spoiling at Thanksgiving a couple years back. We've got David Montgomery running for a gajillion yards Thursday Night Football a few years ago in Lambeau. This has just been such an incredible rivalry if you're a fan of the Detroit Lions, because you've been on the right side of it for 3 years now. So I'm just curious if there's a team that you despise more than the Green Bay Packers heading into football weekend, now that it is officially NFL season with Thursday Night Football starting tonight. 989-837-6125. Let us know what you think.